But Brother Donaldson talked about 30, 40, 50 years ago, in the 30s, 70, 80 years, 70 odd years ago. And he talked about how this country was 70 years ago, how pristine and beautiful it is. I remember I used to go swim out by Porter's Cay. Now if you jump into the ocean by Porter's Cay, you can get all kind of bacteria, you may die. The minister saying you can't store conch in it. So something has gone wrong, Brother Ali. And something's wrong with my people. I hear what you're saying. You think they lost in that the preacher putting them to sleep? You think that's the only thing? Or you think the politicians and the teachers? I think it's part of much more than the preachers, Brother Ali.
Well, you know, Brother Hannah, when you look at what is basically happening, I am really disturbed that, and I've said this before, that those who we trust to take care of us and to kind of lead us, lawyers, teachers, doctors, at one time we all lived together. But as we become successful, we have moved away from over the hill, so to speak. And now that we are accepted in other places, we seem to turn our backs on where we came from.
Ashamed of it.
We're ashamed of it. And
How
because
from where you come from, Brother Ali? I mean,
well, many people are. Let's be honest.
I can't understand that. You grew up in Baintown. You come from one of the most rich cultures, or Camp Road. You come from a rich cultural background. You move into this faceless, gated community with no identity, no history, and you forget where you come from?
Quite
Brother
easy.
Ali, we need to return to the source in this country, man.
Yeah, but you see, we were educated by who? Okay? Our slave master. Then, after we got that education, we feel more or less, for those who got it before integration, we feel more or less they knew why they gave us integration. Because integration, now that we've seen it, it only meant that now that we are permitted to come to Bay Street, we no longer would maintain Wolf Road. So we ran away, we left our business, we left everything. Musicians lost out, business people lost out because of something we wanted, this one Bahama land.
But look what they're doing, Brother Ali. Those fellas are going to Arawak Cay selling their land on Bay Street. You know who's going to buy that? Our people going to buy that land. But all the development going to be out there in the area of the Key, because that's where the ship's going to come in. So when they step off the ship, they're going to step in a taxi. They're not going to step onto Bay Street anymore. So unless there's some kind of development that draws the people into that area, Bay Street going to become a ghost yard like Freeport.
Not what they...
one of our unions may take the people good money and throw it behind there and throw it in the garbage bin.
But that's not what the plan is. I heard a gentleman said there will be condominiums, waterfront condos, and all these good things, and shopping and all 9 yards, which, based on what he said, Bahamians, I would look at to say it would be from the majority versus the minority.
So it's the Bay Street boys who gonna clean up, I understand?
Either way, I mean, who is it for? If it's for us, no, it can't be for us because
we don't want the property there.
No, and we won't be able to afford it based on our income.
But Brother Ali, Baintown, when it floods, they have outdoor toilets. A lot of outdoor toilets still in Baintown. When it floods, that stuff from the toilets floats up to the door. Our little children running through Baintown without adequate sewage, without flood control. We have government buildings developing mold. We don't have a court building, a Supreme Court building. We got a building that should be condemned long time ago. Our government does not seem to have a vision of where to put national development. If we promote Bay Street and the Bay Street boys, and let me call it like it is, the Bay Street, the oligarchy, the oligarchs who've been controlling this country for the last 100 years, if we can invest our money in them, our money, the way they suddenly Baintown and Camp Road, it look like they're going to get the short end of the stick, and they better get a little upset because that's their money. And if you know the history of this country, Brother Ali, I can remember a time I could not go to the Savoy Theater. It was a segregated theater. I couldn't understand it when my mother said, no, we can't go to Savoy. And I can remember you had a barber who was on next to the Savoy Theater. And that barber refused to cut the hair of Sammy Davis. The British Colonial Hotel refused to allow Sammy Davis to come in the place to live. So how is it now, in my lifetime, our people have gone to sleep and forgotten this? And I can't, for the life of me, understand where the leadership of both political parties are on this, because they're black leaders. Something is wrong, Brother Ali. Something is terribly wrong. This is our country. We need to get it right. Brother Ali, we're going to have to take a break now, but when we come back, I want your opinion on this, you know. Where in the world do you go? Will you take my money and give it to my slave master who had me in bondage? Why don't you make that man pay me some reparations, Mr. Christie and Mr. Ingram? I want to know. Why are you giving these people my money? We can come right back and talk about that, man. It's too hot to handle.
A long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
You know, there's a saying, where there's no vision, the people perish. Brother Ali, what is the vision of development in this country when we're going to take the people who have us in bondage and make them strong, and those who are in bondage, we're going to make them have a life of servitude? What kind of development plan is that for this country?
You know, Brother Hannah, when I first read a book, Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
And I can remember clearly in many passages of the book, it said, don't ask the slave master to do what you ought to be doing for yourself.
That's right. That's right.
So one of the things in the United States that took place, a lot of Muslims never participated in electing because in the political process, because he said it's good to have the right to vote, but it's better to have who to vote for, because if you have the right to vote and your only choice was to vote for your slave master, why even bother? The beauty of this country that I saw in coming here, it's that I could remember being in Ronson Square just about the time when my wife was holding a plaque, Clifton Key would never be.
Well, your wife like March now.
And I stood there, and I stood there. It was amazing, because at another time they had something, and I'm sitting there, and it was Prime Minister Ingram at the time, was sitting 2 seats from me. And I felt so big to be sitting so close to the Prime Minister. Because in the United States, if the president, vice president, a congressman is coming through, if you weren't